Now let's find the inverse of y equals root x. And this is another inverse that will deserve both an algebraic and a graphical explanation. And let's get started. So y equals root x. Right away we're going to switch x and y. And then we can square both sides, thereby getting rid of the radical. So x squared equals y. Is that it? Not quite. We're going to have to actually do a couple things to arrive at the full answer. This is just the partial answer. And why is that? Now let me take you to the graphical explanation and show you what's happening. So if we were to graph y equals root x, and I were to draw a table of values, plug it all in, that's what it's going to look like. We're going to have a point here, 0, 0, then 1 and 1, 4 and 2, 3 and 9. Then let me just make a smooth line. Hopefully it will be a nice one. The software is not fantastic for doing these, but got the job done. So yes, this is y equals square root of x. Now note that the range for this graph is just y is greater or equal to 0, because we just see that we start here and then y rises, right, and it goes up forever, but it starts at 0. So that is the range. And now here's an interesting fact. The range of the original becomes the domain of the new function, of the inverse function. So the domain for our new inverse function will be x is greater or equal to 0, because of course y becomes x for the inverse. Well, if we were to graph just y equals x squared, we're going to get a full parabola, and that'll be twice this function. So let's take a look at that. And first let me just graph the line y equals x. And of course, to find the inverse of anything, we need to reflect it upon this line. And now let me just quickly draw. Actually, the one that I wanted to draw is just inverse, right? So this point 0, 0 will stay there. 1 and 1 will stay the same, because if we reverse the ones, it's just going to be the same thing, right? 1 and 1. By switching them, we're just going to get 1 and 1. What about this point over here, which is 4, 2? 4, 2 is going to become 2, 4. So 2, 4. Then 9, 3 will become 3, 9. So this is the inverse right here. I'm going to try to make a smooth curve again. My first attempt was somewhat successful with that line. So let's do this. Great, something like that. So this is y equals x squared, given that the domain is just x is greater or equal to 0. And if we were to draw the full parabola, that would be twice the answer, right? So that would be incorrect. So this is the real solution, and the inverse of y equals root x. That's it.